Okay, great morning to each and everyone. So today we will discuss, or this week we will discuss pairs of angles and relationships between angles. Mathematics 7, third quarter, week 2. So our most essential learning competencies, the learner derives relationships of geometric figures using measurements and by inductive reasoning, congruent angles, complementary angles, supplementary angles, vertical angles, adjacent angles, linear pairs, perpendicular lines, and parallel lines. A total of 5 lessons for this week. Lesson 1, about the congruent angle. So, in this figure, kita natin, magkaparehas yung sukat. Equal measure. So, if angle ABC is equal to 75 degrees and measure of angle PQR is also 75 degrees, therefore, measure of angle ABC is equal to the measure of angle PQR. And in symbols of the measure of angle ABC, congruent to the measure of angle PQR. So the symbol congruent, ito yung symbol ng congruent, is used to denote congruent. Therefore, if two angles are congruent, then they have the same measurements. So, I hope clear po at maliwanag ang tinatawag na congruent angles. Lesson 2, the complementary angles and the supplementary angles. So, based from the figure and symbols of the measures of angle ABC, plus measure of angle DEF equals to 40 degrees, ang measure ng angle ABC, and measure of angle DEF is 50 degrees, so 40 plus 50 is equal to 90 degrees. Then, if the sum of the two angles is equal to 90 degrees, then the pairs of angles are complementary. So kahit hindi sila magkadikit, once their sum is 90, we can consider that the pairs given as complementary. Then, another one, in symbols, measure of angle PQR, which is 30 degree in measure, plus measure of angle STU with a measure of 150 degrees, and the sum of the two is equal to 180 degrees. Therefore, if the sum of the two angles is equal to 180 degrees, then the angles are supplementary. So I hope the difference between the complementary angles and supplementary angles. Complementary, the sum is 90 degrees, and supplementary angles, the sum of the two angles is 180 degrees. Lesson 3, intersecting lines and vertical lines. We cannot form vertical lines nang hindi magkakaroon ng intersection ang dalawang lines, and the intersecting because of the intersection point nagfo-form ng vertical lines. So two lines are intersecting if they have a common point called the point of intersection, and vertical angles are formed by two intersecting lines. So, this is the point of intersection, kaya merong angle 1, may angle 2, may angle 3, angle 4. Pag sinabi kasi vertical angles, they are opposite to each other, magkatapatan. Ang katapat ni angle 1 ay si angle 2, at ang katapat ni angle 3 ay si angle 4. So, these are the two pairs of vertical angle. In terms of their measure, they are congruent. Vertical angles are congruent. If angle 1 is 110 degrees, this is also 100. Angle 2 is also 110 degrees. Observe natin ang angle 1 at angle 3 are supplementary. They form a straight angle. Angle 1, so 180 degrees minus 100, if angle 1 is 110, so 180 minus 110 is equal to 70 degrees. And angle 3 and angle 4 are vertical angles, and they are opposite to each other. Therefore, the measure of angle 4 is also 70 degrees. So this is the intersecting lines and the vertical line. Adjacent angles and linear pair. Two angles are adjacent if they have a common side. An example of this is as follows. So angle BEN and angle TEN are common side of line EN. Parehas silang may line EN. Therefore, these two pairs of angles is adjacent angle. Therefore, we can say that angle BEN and angle TEN are adjacent angles. So, if in case you add the measures of the two adjacent angles and the sum is 180 degrees. So they form a linear pair. They form a line kaya linear pair. And aside from linear pair, they are also supplementary and they have the same or a common or with a common side. They are adjacent. Angle 1 and angle 2 are adjacent angles, linear pair, and at the same time, supplementary angles. So, mostly, ganun din ang complementary angles, pwede sila maging adjacent and at the same time, a complementary angle. Next, the perpendicular and the parallel lines. So, ito yung sample ng perpendicular lines. Two intersecting lines that form a right angle. Yung kanina, hindi naman sila nag-form as right angle. Alam natin, once mayroong small square box, they form a right angle with exact measure of 90 degrees. So perpendicular lines are intersecting lines that form right angles. Line L and line T are perpendicular lines because they intersect at point J and form a right angle. So this is the same case as line M and line N, and their point of intersection is point K and form again a right angle. So in symbol, we write line L perpendicular to line T. Ito yung kanyang symbol ng perpendicular, and line M perpendicular to line N. The parallel lines. So parallel lines are lines do not intersect. That do not intersect line R parallel to line S and line. These two are parallel lines because they have no point of intersection. Same case with lines W and Z. So in symbol, we write line R is parallel to line S and line W is parallel to line Z. So that is our lesson for this week. So I hope clear to each and everyone the congruent angles, the complementary angles, the supplementary angles, the intersecting lines, vertical lines, the adjacent angles and linear pair, and perpendicular lines and parallel lines. Now, okay, in learning task 1, direction, given the following pairs of angles, write the congruence between them in symbols. Don't forget the angle symbol and the congruent symbol in your answer in learning task 1 to 5. Okay, in learning task 2, directions match angles in column A from the angles in column B to form a pair of complementary angles. Write the letter of your answer on the blank or sa intermediate paper. Dito, pag sinabi natin complementary, the sum of the two angles is 90 degrees. So 90 minus the given and hanapin yung sagot sa column B. And for letter B, supplementary naman. So dun sa atin na pag-aralan na ang sum ng dalawang angle is 180 degrees is supplementary. So 180 degrees minus the measure of the angles given, hanapin sa column B yung kanyang kapartner to make it 180. Dito naman sa letter A, ang kapartner niya para maging 90 degrees ay ano, kaya nga 90 minus the given. Dito sa B, 180 minus the given. So I hope clear ang gagawin sa learning task 2. Learning task 3, write 5 pairs of vertical angles. So use 3 capital letters. We have 3 different ways to write an angle. So na-discuss natin yan sa week 1. Kaya ano ang katapat niyang angles? 5 pare. Learning task 4. Given the following linear pairs, find the measurement of the missing angle. So example, this is linear pair. Lahat. Ibig sabihin ang sum ng dalawang angles ay lahat ay 180 degrees. So 105 degrees plus plus measure of angle K is equal to 180 degrees, and measure of angle K is equal to 180 minus 105. The difference between the two is 75. So ano naman sa number 1, isusulat dito, to make it 180, at alam natin na pag may square, that is right angle, at what is the measure of the right angle, subtract from 180. Then ganun din dito, 180 minus 50, to make it 180 degrees, what is the measure of angle? So I hope maliwanag din ano ang gagawin sa learning task 4. For the next activity, fill in the blank, so you need to complete the statement, that is 1 to 5. Then for the quiz, write the letters only, 1 to 5 also. Then for the reflection, complete the following. I understand that, I realize that, and I need to learn more about. So, thank you for your time and for your watching. I hope maliwanag po sa bawat isa. Ang topic natin for this week about the relationship between angles. So, keep safe everyone. God bless.